この俺が人間なんだ。
Alright, so in this one, I want to go over equipment. Now, this won't necessarily be the best equipment guide, like do these equipment. Like, yes, I will touch on equipment that is good to do, but it will mostly be how to really value equipment and what equipments will be good for units. And then individually, it's more, to an extent at least, preferential, right? You can say, you want more offenses on your equips than you want defenses, but then you'll have more of a defensive bench, or vice versa. It's some preference that's involved in that, so just be wary. And also to note, I am not like this mastermind, big brain guy who knows all the percentages of like peak slots and all this, like all that, and like the perfect equips for every single unit in the game. No, I know what's good on most units, and I run this generic setup, and I even ask people a lot of times that main these specific teams when they're getting buffed, like LOE. I just ask somebody this entire week, okay, what's the best LOE coach for this unit, this Senkai, this blah blah blah, right? So yes, always take advice from others, whole premise there. And again, understand some of this is preferential, right? So just to go over, I'm going to show equips on this team, Team Bardock, because it's not really a team you're going to run into, but it's a team that is all Saiyans, which is a team that you're most likely to run into, a Saiyan team, right? So to touch on it, equips that are very just always there, that are going to be there, are going to be Plats. So obviously, he has Anime Original Saga Plat. They all have this, but Bardock being the main guy and being the main damage dealer, I'm going to give it to him, right? So this one here, you would always give to Bardock because it is very good. There's not really much lacking behind it, and on top of it is Blast, with him being Blast-based. On top of that, you do want to preference what they main. Obviously, if Bardock is Blast-based, I want to give him more Blast-based equips, right? If Tora is more Strike-based, give him more Strike-based. Fasha more Blast-based, give him more Blast-based. Just how that works. Then, this other equipment here. Now, he has a double defense, pure Blast Tech. Why? Because when you have a full team, just a normal build, and you have regular Z abilities of just spreading around the offenses and defenses of what their priority is, Bardock being Blast Tech, and then just getting everything around him from all the other Z abilities, you can run one Pure. One Pure that's it. You really can't run another. If Bardock were Zenkai buffed, I could maybe warrant a second Pure if I had really, really high Z abilities, like the 50% EXs. But without Zenkai buffs on this specific team, one Pure, that is it. Now, how to tell what's Pure? It will say per battle member, or per this, or each this. It'll have a low percentage, and it'll even show you. I could click it off here. I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to put on this one. You see my ability bonus? It went from, look, 4151, and then this one 4161. Now, this equipment is not a Pure. How this game skills it is, it registers it pre. So it doesn't know you're going to bring in a full Saiyan team, right? You're registering this equipment, and the game is picking it up as, okay, here, you have basically 4.65% Blast Tech, but we don't know the other members, so we can't assume, okay, here you go, you're going to get all that 12% you can get from it, or 15%, whatever the peak is, until you actually click them into battle, right? So the game won't even register that, hey, this is actually better. It'll register the other one because they don't know what you're picking for battle, right? So understand, even if you see a lower ability bonus, the equipment actually is probably better at that point. Obviously, it's not the case for everything, but for this specific scenario, again, you look, 4.51 here, it goes up by 10% there. Obviously, it means, hey, they think this equipment is better in value, but in actual reality, this equipment is better because it's pure Blast Tech, which is very good because it multiplies into your stats rather than adds. Normal equipment that are like this one here, base Blast Tech, means it's adding onto your stats. The pure means it's multiplying. Obviously, multiplication means a bigger number is going to come from that, so that's why the pures are such low rolls. It's only 15%. They're not going to give you a 35% pure. Holy shit, you'll be one-shotting everything with that, right? So they have lower rolls and lower percentages just at peaked out because, again, it's multiplying, not adding. That's why you can't run many pures, because if you have such okay Z abilities and you're running 3 pures, you can't. It doesn't work out because you don't have enough to sustain that pure that you're actually getting, because you need the high ability bonus to make that multiplication be high, right? That's how that works. And then this one here, again, not something quintessentially needed. Again, there's preferences, right? I could run Battle of Saiyans instead, and that'll be double defense and HP, because Bardock, he wants to be a little face tanky, and he eat hits. But then I look at my team, and I'm like, hey, I have double HP. Why not run just all damage? Because I have double HP. Bardock as the leader, he's giving HP for everyone, on top of just Team Bardock in general, which is the core team. And then Raditz also giving HP. Why not just run that, right? Like, there's no reason to not to. But again, you have a preference here. If your bench is different, if your main core is different, you're obviously going to change it up and just alter around it. Now, you might say, hey, why not give Bardock this one then? Because it's Blast Attack and HP. Well, how I value Bardock is I want to try to land this blue card because it can do a lot of damage very devastatingly. And we do have, maybe not a blue card supplier, but an easier time to get blue cards because Fasha draws green cards and Bardock's green card can't attempt to draw a blue card because it draws one random card. So I do like that value more for that. And the key recovery, which is nice because Bardock obviously gets double card draw speed, but no keyback when the enemy finishes their combo, so it can help us extend combos, right, which he wants to do because he wants to stay in the fight, which is better for him, in my opinion. Then, we keep going over. Again, this is not necessarily quintessential, like, farm these equips, do this, do this, do this, do this. No, but it is helping you gauge, hey, look, these are equips for this team. I'm going over why they're valuable for this team. Maybe that can apply to other teams, right? Again, we'll touch on, like, really good equips you should always farm, but that's going to be at the end of this. Tora. Now, he has Tin Men. Now, Tin Men is an equipment that's gone right now. It's sad because it was only for like 2 weeks. Tin Men is goated. Double Blast Tech, which is whatever, double blast, and then pure 10% strike. Now, this is very good because most battle members, just right now in the game, are melee type. I say that, then I look at the team and double blast units. But it still works, because it works if your unit alone is melee type, right? Because, thank God it works like that. But, like, Super Vegito is a melee type, so he could use this, and it's for Saiyans, right? Ultra Gogeta, this would be great on. Goku Vegeta, this would be great on. Most units are just gonna run this and be fine with it, because it's for a very generic tag of Saiyans, the biggest tag in the game. So you have that pure 10% strike. Again, that does work out with him there, given he has Zenkai buff, so we could possibly run his second one, but at this point I don't see the value in it, just because Tora, I want to build tanky. Yes, he has Tin Men, but that's because, well, it's giving at least some offensive capabilities, and I already have some tankiness behind him with the Zenkai buff, with the double HP, so I'm kind of building him in a mixed way there, which maybe isn't the perfect way, I agree, but it is a way that does work out for him, because yes, he has a lot of defense already from this, on top of the last equipment, which is Battle Saiyans, right? Double defense here, double attack, and then HP. Again, I don't need to run a quadruple million HP setup for him. I have double HP, and I have double Z abilities, right? So I can lack a little bit in defense, because I have so much HP just going from Z abilities and from my equipment. This one here, double defense and HP. And why I build Tora tanky, again, this is all preference, this part. You can't really, like, yes, this is why I did it. Tora has really good cut for early game, right? He has, I believe, 60% cut, 40% there, then he has 20% here. He has 60% cut, and he goes neutral when covering in. So how I want to build Tora is he's going to be my wall, right? I want to build him as a wall type unit, so I have double HP there. I have the Zenkai buff for him, which it's not really intentional. It's more because Super Saiyan Goku has a good Z ability of double defense, but the Zenkai buff also helps him. And then I have double HP. Tora's my wall. Like, he doesn't take much damage from anybody in the entire game when I cover in with him, because again, 6% cut, maybe not the craziest stats because he's an EX, but he still doesn't take much damage. Like, he'll take maybe 30% peak from like a Goku Vegeta on mono purple. Like, that's not even trolling. Like, I've done it a million times, because again, he goes neutral for 5 counts on cover, right? So he's built like a wall with some offensive capabilities, because he is strike-based, so I did give him Tin Men there, which is another reason for it. But again, you build them to your preference. If you want your Tora to do damage, okay, well, give him this equipment instead of Battle Saiyan, so you have more strike attack, and then that pure can amplify even more for him. But if you want to build them in a manner I would say is more optimal for him, you would build him tanky, right? Because again, he wants to be that wall. You want to go in with Tora maybe, cover in, and then do 2 strikes, but the thing is, he wants to get hit, he wants to do that support, he wants to get that build-up support for the Team Bardock allies, because it's what? Both attacks up to 30%, then health restore, I believe you can't give all the allies, and it's uncancelable, so how you think of Tora is, okay, after enemy attack is over, he's giving that 10%, 10%, 10%, so you cover in with him every single time, so you can get that percentage rolling, 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 and amplify your Bardock and Basha, if not just your Bardock, right? And then Basha, how I built her is basically just blast. I don't really care for her defensive because she doesn't really have much defensive capabilities. Even so, She does have a heal on main, so giving her more health equips does help that amplify even more, because obviously the higher your HP is just innately, the more you'll heal, like, in a sense, when you actually pop the main ability and get that team heal, right? So I give her this one here, which is Blast Attack, HP, and then Damage Hybrids, which doesn't really matter, but I just like the first 2 slots, right? Because Battle Saint's already on somebody else. Obviously, you should farm extra copies of equips, but I still want that Blast Attack because she's Blast-based. Then this one here, this is the same exact thing as the one on Bardock, but it's actually worse. That's the reason Fasha has it, because Bardock's obviously the main guy. I want him to be, like, godly beyond belief. Fasha's is obviously worse here, but it is still decent. You know, pure Blast Attack is good there. Obviously, again, Bardock has the better one, where it is a little bit less defenses, but more Blast Attack, which is really what you want. And then, obviously, the EX equipment you should give to every single EX in the game. Double defense, double attack, and HP there. So, again, we have double HP. She's double Zenkai buffed here, because Raditz does do EX blue units. And then Namegoku is, you know, obviously double attack from his Z ability, but blue Saiyans, I believe. Yeah, blue Saiyans. So we're getting that there. Again, it's not really intentional, but it's also working out, because the Z abilities work out fine. You look at it here. I could even look at this and be pretty content. Like, we have 30% blast attack there. We have strike attack, and then Tora's giving Team Bardock, which is the whole entire team, blast attack. So yeah, we have a lot of Z abilities just flowing very nicely throughout everyone here. So we have that ability to get those Zenkai buffs. On top of it, it's like, why not just do it, right? So Fasha would be the most capable for more pures. Like, truly, I could run a double pure here. If I'm just looking at any, I could just run a Hurry Vegeta. Or even this one here, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, Hurry Vegeta is better because it's a higher percentage, but I could run one of those pures and then I'd be fine. But how I value her, again, is kind of a little bit of a sponge, because I don't want to waste her main too early, waste that heal, but I don't want her to, you know, get fucking O-code in like 3 cards. So I kind of have to find a middle ground for her, and I run a more HP setup for her. Again, this part is just preference. You can't really gauge this and be like, yeah, I have to run these equips only. Now, there's some teams where you're really forced to run just the same things, and I'll touch on that real quickly. But in this team here, it's, again, more up to your preference. Tora, I would say you're pretty much forced to run a more defense setup if you want to at least support your allies and get that damage inflicted for your Bardock and Fasha there. But again, if you want to change that up, you can. Bardock, you can run him more defensively so he can last longer and have that tanking abilities. But again, you look at the Z abilities and it's like, do I really need to run more HP for him when I have double HP and everyone else has double HP equips? It's like, I don't think that's just needed. I think it could work out, but I don't think it's needed, right? And then just to touch on the team, I can just build it very quickly here of equips where you're basically forced to run these equips. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing to be forced to run equips, because it does give you at least an objective to what to run. So I'll just put it as a top 3, whatever. It's just for all hybrids anyways. This equipment here, let's say you're running hybrids and you're thinking of, okay, what equips? Well, this actually is a good example of 2 things here, but you're thinking of what equips? You run this. And what is this equipment? It is the best hybrid equipment in the game, because it is 8% pure per Hybrid Saiyan battle member and 8% pure once again for Hybrid Saiyan battle member for both attacks. Why is that good? Well, we went over it, right? Pures multiply into your stats, so if you have a very high Z ability bonus and or just really a normal ability bonus, 1 pure per unit, if you're not getting Zenkai buffs on that unit, does work out very nice. At 8% goes up to 24% pure, 24% multiplication into your stats. I'm pretty sure that's one of the highest multiplicative stat increases that this game does offer you, and it's for every Hybrid Saiyan. Very vast generic equipment that everyone has to run on a hybrid if you really want your hybrids to peak out. And then more priority equips, I guess you could look at, let's say Goten. If they have a platinum equipment, you most likely want to run the plat. Like, I'm looking at Goten here, I'm thinking, okay, he has his own plat, obviously that's perfect for him. Now I'm looking here, this one's blast attack, Goten's blast base, pretty simple to me. Hey, we're going to run a blast equip there, right? And if I'm going to go to, let's say, let me go to a Yellow Movies unit here. Gohan here, he has a plat. So what am I going to do? I'm going to run this plat. Even if he weren't really strike-based, I'd probably run this because that double defense is very nice. But thankfully he is, and you're forced to run that situation, right? Another team that you kind of am forced... If you want to play it correctly, you're kind of forced to run this, right? And it'll change depending, again, what you want to play like. But in a perfect scenario, if you're going to build this team here, which is Future, you want to run this team with defensive equips. You don't want to run many offense. Like, sure, you can run this. It's double defense and then pure strike attack up to 6%. So that's 18% pure. Have that on everyone. Sure, have that. But then you build everyone. The entire top 3. Obviously, the bottom 3 is just nothing. Ignore them. Everyone, you build full defensive / ultimate. So you look at Trunks, he has a very good ultimate, he could do a lot of damage, so I'm going to build him in a manner. Okay, so let me give you ultimate buffs there, boom, boom, boom. Now I have Trunks who can really tank well, get his gauge, not really take much damage. He has a pure strike, so it's really going to help him later game. And I have a lot of defenses, and his ultimate can hit hard because I have double ultimate damage equips here, right? Because this one here, that one there, going to have a lot of ultimate damage. Then you look again, Future Gohan. How I value him, how I've always said him, is you value him as a support, disruption type. Maybe not fully just support, but disruption. He is disruptor, so what you want is that disruptor to not die, right? So what would I value him? I give him that there, again, double defense, pure strike. I would give that to every single core member. Then I give him stuff to let him eat. So this one here, double defense and HP. I give him that so he can soak up hits, right? And then what's another one here that is pretty good for him? Actually, would I change one of these out? Because I had no, okay, I know what to do here. Yeah, okay. So I change out this. No, I change out this on Trunks, and I actually give him this one instead, because again, it's just defenses. And then HP, actually, so he lasts longer, right? Can't heal as me as well. Then I give him Gohan that, some ultimate damage as well. Then, for Zamasu Goku Black, I give him this one. That's blue card damage, HP, and strike defense. I could give anything. Battle of Saiyans, double defense HP. And then I give them, if I really want to, I can give them this one because they are technically more blast-based, I think, in their damage. I'd give them this one. If I don't want to give them that one, I could give them this one here, which is going to be HP and then blast defense per yellow battle member. That will be 24% defense per yellow battle member, which would be very nice as well. This is a team where you kind of want to build in a specific manner. Now, I've seen builds with this team where it's very offensive, and the issue with that is you don't really have the capabilities to sustain that, right? Your whole damage kind of idea comes from the idea of Future Gohan disrupting, and then, okay, let me go to Sword Hope Trunks, and now I have 50% support, 75%, 100%. No matter how many, tap attacks they did, I'm getting some support, right? Then it's Sword Hope Trunks time to do some damage. If not, and they're comboing me, I don't have Future Gohan back, Zamasu Goku Black, eat some hits. You want to build a team around Trunks doing your damage, while Future Gohan can do damage later game, and, after some green cards for sure, you want to build your team around that idea of just damage for one character, and then, well, you have the defense to back it up, right? Because you have that endurance, you have double endurance there. Given this team can't falter now because Ultra Gogeta does exist and he's just a menace beyond belief, but this team works better in a more optimal sense, and if you're looking for optimal, here you are, with a defensive setup. I've seen very much offense setups. I look at Future Gohans that are 14 stars that have barely 3 million health. Future Gohan in this setup probably has about 3.5, 3.4, 3.6 million health if I run the correct bench with, like, Gotenks, EX Mai, then Yellow Broly. Boom, double HP bench, and then I'm amplifying my health that I have already from equips, and I have crazy defenses. I'm really not going to die until late game, and by then, I have that disruption support. I have the Zamasu Goku Black support. I have the passive heal they offer. Then I have health restoration on Trunks, and he's my main guy to do damage, so it's like, boom, I'm vibing in that spot. But yeah, just to touch on equips. Shit, I didn't even say that. That's okay, though. Touch on equips that you should just automatically farm, truly. If I'm going to be blunt, it's just all plats, like every single plat here. Can I sort by unique equips or plats, I assume? Yes, yeah. Farm plats, right? Like you look at here, Frieza Saga platform this, the Majin Buu Saga platform this, the unique character plats, obviously farm them. I'm not saying you have to Z plus them all like this, but farm them up to at least an S. I would say S's are decent value. For these weird equipments that are like this, where it's like, okay, you have to get a fucking perfect slot, which is the same rate of pulling an LF, by the way. That red slotting these type of equipments, like the Full Power Frieza one, this one, G4, it's the same rate of pulling an LF, so just try to get a gold on it. Like, you could get a gold on that. You don't have to stress it, but always farm these unique platinum equipments. They're obviously the most valuable because they're doing the most fucking things. Like, look at this here. You're getting fucking... That's the same exact thing as the hybrid equipment. Like, it's so good, that hybrid equipment, that it's the same thing as Super Saiyan 4 Goku's equipment. And that's not a bad roll. Like, 24% pure fucking damage is very nice. It's the same exact thing right there, right? Obviously, you want to farm these unique equipment stuff. Like, try to at least S them, right? Like, maybe not get... Oh my god, I have so many of these. Wow. yeah, these drop rates are really good for him, but still can't red slot that last one. Unfortunate, but farm them up. If you want to farm Z's, I guess you could also do that. If you want to reroll like the last slot over and over and over again and farm Z's for CC, you could do that. But always get the unique equipments. Like, even if you don't own the unit, you'll own the unit eventually. Just get them, right? You don't own full power Frieza, it doesn't matter. Just get this. Like, this equipment's very good for him. He doesn't fucking need it. And it might, honestly, it might even be replaced in the coming future. But right now, it's worth it. It's valuable. Get it done. For everyone that you can get equipments for that are specific, just get them. There's no reason to not to, besides just pure laziness. And, I mean, at that point, it's not even, like, come on. Like, you can do it. And then other equipments here that are just gold, which maybe aren't around that often, but they're still good. I'm just trying to see the most valuable ones. Again, it's all team-based, right? It's just dependent. But the most vastly valuable ones, and it's not even around, would be Tin Men, that equipment from earlier with Vegeta's face on it. I would say this equipment's pretty valuable. It's just for regular-ass Vegetas, and it's double attack, which Goku Vegeta kind of applies to them because they're blast and strike-based, because obviously Vegeta being more blast. I think Vegeta's more blast-based, and then Goku's more strike-based on Goku Vegeta. That can work there. But again, most equipments are pretty just specific. Like, I'm not going to recommend someone farm 37 of these if they don't use LOE, right? Like, it's a good equipment, but I'm not going to recommend some, 37 farms of it. This equipment here would be nice to farm if you main LOE. But again, it's not something you have to, like, prioritize focus 24/7. The EX equipments you should get done. This here, another one that's pretty decent and just overall valuable. You should maybe get done. But again, there's nothing really specific that's a gold that's like, okay, you need to get this. Like, sure, EX equipments, but then it just comes down to your team. And then team-wise, it's just get stuff that has high percentages. Like, if I'm looking here and I'm thinking, okay, I have this equipment for my Fusion Warriors, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I have a Blast-based Fusion Warrior equipment. Now I need a Blast-based Pure. I get that Hurry Vegeta equipment, boom, because fusions are predominantly all Saiyans, then you have very good rolls there for them both, because you have a pure, you have a base, and then that multiplication, again, applies very heavily with the higher percentage of the equipments and the Z abilities around that unit, right? Again, same scenario here. I have a strike attack roll on this one. If I'm thinking about Gogeta 4, and I run this on him, and then I run Tin Men on him. Well, obviously, with me having a very high 35% roll here, that Tin Men will amplify even more and be better than it was prior to if there's other equipments that aren't up to snuff with that 35%. But again, there's no specific premium things besides just all the unique equipments, platinum equipments, whatever you want to call them. Farm those up. EX equipments, farm them up. At least try to get some, if not maybe one copy of all these platinum equipments. I mean, obviously if they're character specific, do only one, unless it's like separate roles, like the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta equipment, unlike the Super Saiyan 4 Goku platinum equipment, unless they're specific. Try to farm a couple of them, like I'm referring to the Majin Buu Saga one, the Frieza Saga one, the all these other Saga ones, right? Be like, more caring for those to get like, a couple of them, but the specific ones just get one unless the character obviously calls for more, right? But I think this helps. I'm not sure. I think it's valuable because I went over my entire team, and that's the team I actually run most often, just off camera, for fun, to really just use Bardock at his best scenario. I think that is his best scenario as well. I mean, I think this helps. If it doesn't, let me know. If it does, let me know. If I could give any other advice, I would say don't try to peek out for red slots, and just go for decent rolls. Like, you don't need to get a red slot first roll on this equipment for it to be a Z+. If you want to go for a Z+, like, you don't need to do all that. Like, this needs to be like 17% to Z+, right? It could be a fucking gold in Z+. So you don't have to go for these peaked out equipments. You don't have to go for all these Z+. It's just shiny, interesting things. You really don't have to, like, peek out everything. If I were to recommend one thing on equipments, though, pure equipments, so again, like something like this, for each, per each, whatever it is, that wording in that slot there, try to get those the highest roll, because obviously the pure does add more to your value, because it is, again, multiplying into, rather than this base blast would be adding into. So try to get the pures your highest roll if you are going to reroll slots. Pures are your friends. You can get normal ones any day of the week. Pures are harder to roll. They're more costly. Their rolls are lower when you reroll them, but they're obviously the better thing. So that's the more valuable thing you should strive for. With that being said, let me know what you guys think of all this. I do think it could help. If it doesn't help, I apologize, but I assume this did help at least some people here. And yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.